Hey, welcome to this video. I wanted to walk through the nutrition dial more in depth with you. So you've probably gone through the overview of the light switch and pause button mentality versus the dial mentality, which is probably the single most important concept that I could ever teach you when it comes to craft, when it comes to truly changing your health. So over the years, I've had a struggle in the past. Now we've figured it out. But in the past, I've struggled with communicating how is it that I think about health and fitness, because I never, ever, ever use the term falling off the wagon. I never, ever, ever use that I've never used that thought process of like, man, I just totally gave up on my health, but I'm going to get back after it next week. Like, that's never been in my mentality. And how can I take this out of my brain, how I think about my health, and how can I help communicate it to you in such a way that you can adopt as well? Because I want you to stop doing that. I want you to stop thinking of things in terms of, hey, we're going on a vacation next week. I'm just going to press pause on my health, and then I'll start it up again when I get back. That's not how our health works. And so what I'm doing is I'm walking you through, look right here. So I'm walking you through what is my dial, okay, what does my dial look like 1 through 10? How do I turn it up? How do I turn it down? What seasons of life have I gone through where I've turned it up, and what does that mean is going on in my life, practically speaking? But also, if you look over here, I want to show you like what it means. I want to show you like how I end up eating during the different times and different seasons of my life. So first, but before I get started, last thing. It's going to be different for each one of us. And so I want to challenge you in this section, phase 1, dialing it in, your method. I want to challenge you in 2 ways. First, I want you to create your own dial. I want you to create what it means when you are 100% on point, you're going harder than ever, you are more focused than ever, you never slip up. That's a 10 out of 10 on the dial, right? You turn your dial all the way up to 10, 1 out of 10. Now, and then if you are at a 1 or a 2, what does that mean? If you're at a 3, if you're at a 5, if you're at a 7, if you're at an 8, I need you to be thinking about these things, because what works for you is going to be different depending on the season of your life. And if you're watching this, chances are you're a parent. Okay, you're a mom or you're a dad, you've got kids, which means you not only have the responsibility of just your spouse or yourself, you have the responsibility for your kids, which means a lot of things are not going to go as planned. And when things don't go as planned, that means you might have seasons of life. No, you will have seasons of your life where you have to turn the dial back and still make progress, even when you're not able to do everything that you want to do with your health. Okay, so let's dive in right here. Check this out. My nutrition dial, as you can see, that 1 out of 10, a 1 out of 10 on my nutrition dial typically means there's a newborn in our home, which has been happening often lately. We have 3 kids under the age of 4. Okay, sorry, under the age of 5. Our oldest just turned 4. Okay, so we have 3 kids under the age of 5. And a 1 out of 10, essentially, that's the situation in life. I go to my nutrition 1 out of 10 when we have a newborn child, okay? Typically sleepless, trying to support my wife in whatever way possible. I just do not worry about health in the slightest. I just do what I can. Usually there's a meal train, so whatever food people bring us, like a 1 out of 10 looks like me trying to communicate to people, hey, if you're bringing us dinners, please, please, please bring us some vegetables, something like that, okay? Look at this. Next is, so next is a 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I always put that I am never at a 2 or a 3. Like, I'm really never in that situation where I'm at a 2 or a 3. Really, it's the newborn child, or at the very least, I'm at a 4. So going back down to number 4, okay, a situation where I'm at a number 4 is where we are on a family vacation or business trip, okay? So a family vacation or business trip, I do like to dial it down because I do not like to keep my, nutrition on point, because I'm typically eating out a lot more, okay? I'll go over practically what that usually means. Also, I do some other things that are not exactly the best for my health. For example, like smoke a cigar, but I'll go into that in a second. So what's another dial on my nutrition dial? Okay, number 5. Okay, so a 5 would be startup business. Now, we started EP, for example, our transformation studio. We started it back in March of 2018. For the startup phase of EP, I was at a 5 out of 10. I wasn't working out as long as I wanted to, but specifically speaking for nutrition, it was really hard to know when I was going to get off work, when I was going to get done with things, because I was working so much, okay? And so I had to bring my nutrition dial to a 5 out of 10 and control what I can control. Again, I'll give you the practical of what that actually meant for my life, but that's just a situation in my life where I had to do that. And then let's see, let's come down here. If you look at this, okay. So 6 or 7, if you look at that, what are we reading? Okay, what are we reading? That says, where I try to stay at right now. This is where I try to stay right now. I'm always trying to figure out what is it going to take for me to get my nutrition to a 6 or a 7 out of 10, because I don't want to be a nutrition. I don't want, I still want to be able to enjoy myself in social situations. But at the same time, I want to be consistent with my nutrition so that I can still make progress towards my goals. And I know if I'm at a 6 or 7 out of 10, I can still make progress to my goals. Now, ways that I've been at an 8 out of 10 is when I was single and had no kids. I was able to consistently and very easily maintain that 8 out of 10 nutrition dial intensity when I was single and had no kids, because all I had to do was worry about myself when it came to food. That I was only making decisions for myself when it came to food, okay? And then 10 out of 10, if you look at the 10 out of 10 right there, okay, that is when I was prepping for the professional football tryouts, the combine stuff, trying to get on a professional football team. That was my 10 out of 10. I was working out for 6 hours a day. I was literally, I'll go over it real quick, but I was the most strict that I've ever been on eating during that season of my life, okay? And so that would be my dial, and what that means, the seasons of life. Now go into, but what did it actually mean? Okay, what did it actually mean for my food? What did it actually mean for my habits? And here's what I wrote down. Here's what I want to communicate to you and remind you again that everybody's is different, okay? But for me, the one, right here, okay, cool. So that's going to be survive. That's going to be survive and help Jacqueline at all costs. A 1 out of 10 means like I'm not trying to worry about basically anything regarding nutrition. I'm just trying to help her, survive. It's going to be sleepless. We're going to have a newborn. I'm going to be taking care of the other kids mostly because she's going to be nursing, etc., and dealing with the pregnancy and the post pregnancy type stuff. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Over here again, never get here ever. That's part of my mentality is like I will never be at a 2 or 3. Ever. I will not allow myself to be at that, because I know that even with minimal effort, I can be at a 4 out of a 10. And so that brings us down to 4 out of 10. I was talking about business trips and family vacations. Now, business trips and family vacations, here's what happens when I'm on a family vacation. I dial it down to a 4 out of 10 when it comes to nutrition. I like to find local spots to eat and eat out at, okay? Typically, it's not the healthiest foods. Sometimes it could be good seafood, that kind of thing, but most of the time it's not. So I'll be eating out more often. Whenever we're on vacation, of course, that's when I like to splurge and get tortilla chips. Tortilla chips are like my thing. I love tortilla chips, but I never allow myself to have them unless it's like, or for the most part, I don't allow myself to have them except for like special occasions, okay? I also like to smoke cigars. So smoking cigars is not good for your health. I like to keep it like a vacation thing. I used to smoke like probably 1 or 2 cigars a month, or maybe it was like 1 every other month. I can't even remember. But right now, I'm only smoking cigars when I'm on vacation, okay? I really enjoy that. I just decided I don't want to do it very often, and we hardly take any vacations, so I figured that would be a good time to do that at. And then, like I said, eating out, eating desserts, ordering desserts. My wife loves desserts, and I do too. It's usually I can only handle a couple bites of it, but that's me, okay? Now, coming back around to what I was talking about with the startup business, okay? So for the startup business, look at that. Lots of sandwiches, peanut butter and honey, burritos for late nights. So this would be if I'm stuck at the gym and I don't got any more food and I'm stuck here late night because I'm in startup phase. I'm just working so much, 80-hour work weeks, 90-hour work weeks, and 6-7 days a week. And if you look at this, I'm just having a lot of sandwiches, something that's quick, something that can fill my belly, something that has calories, but not necessarily healthy. Like I don't like prep or nothing like that. Burritos for late nights. Those are going to be ways I'm not necessarily being super healthy, but I'm dialing it back. I'm understanding that, look, this is a season in my life where I'm not able to be as healthy as I want to be, but that's okay because I still don't have to completely sabotage my progress, okay? Now, coming in here, where I currently try to stay at all times, that's very important to look at. So for me, being at a 6 or 7 a lot of times means consistency, okay? It means I'm going to eat the same breakfast, oatmeal and eggs, okay, every single morning. And I love it. I'm going to eat the same lunch and snacks, okay? So lunch for me is typically going to be a meat sandwich with hummus and bread, okay? Pretty simple, along with whether it's either broccoli or green leaf lettuce, like spring mix, okay? So that's the same lunch, snacks, and then snacks as well as either protein bars or a meal that my wife made the night before. My wife likes to, when my wife cooks at home dinners, I'll just take the leftovers for lunch the next day, okay? So sandwich as my snacks, and then sandwich and veggies as my snack, and then whatever we had for dinner the night before, that's what I stick to. And then I also, if you look at, where is this? Right there. 3 veggies a day. I try to get 3 vegetable servings a day. Vegetables are so hard to get in, but that's what my 6 or 7 out of 10 means. What does it mean for you? It's going to be different, but I want you to figure that out. And then up here, when I was really, really on point, okay? I was really on point because I was single. I had no kids. Only person to worry about was me. I would make weird bachelor meals. What that means is I'd like mix weird things like tuna, kale, some sort of sauce. I'd have a ton of meat and veggies. Like that's all I would eat like for a meal. I just have a crap ton of veggies and then a lot of meat, like tons of meat. I'm talking like 2 pounds of meat at a meal. I would have a lot of like the fancy expensive protein bars and the powders. Like that was just what I did because, I was working at Coke Supply and Trading. I was making the corporate monies, but all I had to do was worry about myself, and I didn't have money to spend on in terms of kids, wife, et cetera, or a business. And so I was able to do that. And then lastly up here, I put the only grains I had when I was prepping for the pro football tryouts, that kind of thing. No bread, no dairy. Only grains I had was quinoa, plus all these other things I put right there, okay? So all those other weird meals that I had, I kept eating those because I was just very, very, very strict with what I was doing during that season of life. So hopefully this video went further in depth for you on the nutrition dial. And from this, I want you to create your own nutrition dial. I want you to see it in front of you. Grab a piece of paper, literally draw a circle, okay? Draw a circle, and then write down 1 through 10 and say, what does it mean for me to be at a 1 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 10 out of 10? Take the time, and you will not regret it. You will begin to be enlightened to where you're at during different seasons of your life and how you can keep making progress. Like at what point in time can you not make progress? For me, at a 4 out of 10, I can no longer make progress or maintain. At 5, I can at least maintain, okay? 6, 7 is where I can make the best progress for the amount of time spent. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, this video is for those of you who are going through phase 1, dialing it in. And because remember, dialing it in and finding your methodology is not just about finding what works for you. It's about finding what works for you in the different seasons of your life. Because if you can only make progress doing one set of different routines, then there's going to be most times in your life where things aren't going to be perfect and you're not going to be able to do that perfect, set in stone methodology and routine that you have set up. So we need to find out, how can we dial it down? How can we dial it up? So that overall you're making that positive trajectory and positive pathway on progress, but at the same time, be realistic about life. Okay. We're going to go through seasons where stuff isn't going to happen. So again, hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon.